What ho? What is this? Is that $1? What could this mean? I think it's money Moicano. Sorry, he's worth a lot more than $1. Forget that skit. Yes, money. Hey, money? Moicano. Oh, that's upside down. Money? Moicano. Again, he's worth a lot more than a fucking... Alright. That's great. UFC 311. Do we know her? I do. Well, I've been thinking about her a lot. She's been in my nightmares, in my dreams. Honestly, all the above. 3, 1, 1. What does that spell? 311. Nice. Last minute dynamic picks. Don't bet on fights. It's bad for your brain. Just pay attention to them, care about them, and invest in them mentally and with your soul. That might actually be bad for you too. Depends on how far you go. Okay. Lots of fights. Too many fights. We got to start just where I think things are, where I know them, okay? Where things matter. And that's Grant Dawson, and Diego Fierro. Yeah, 2 baddies, but we got to start somewhere. Okay, first, let's start with Grant Dawson. What's going on? What's the story here? Well, the story is Nebraska. Not really, but that's part of the story. Grant Dawson's definitely proven himself. His only loss in the UFC is Bobby Green, and we're all allowed to lose to Bobby Green because, he's crazy, he's chaos. And it was right away, he caught him with something right away. So, let's just say you run the fight back. It's not like it was a technical strikeout, from Bobby Green's end. Like, he's literally only lost once and then also had a no contest. He trains at American Top Team, which, you're basically a baddie if you're there. For the most part, you're just surrounded by a lot of good energy. Overall, he's like a really sticky guy. He'll submit you. He'll punish you. He'll take you to decision. And like I said, he's from Nebraska. That is important. Okay. And he is going against Diego Ferreira, who, fancy tiger. He's had a bit of mixed success in the UFC, 10-5, but he really went on a tear from 2019 to 2020, and overall he prefers to submit. So wait, we got to look at this. Let's break this down. We got to have both. Let's dive in. Okay, love it. All right, so clearly, all right, not great takedown accuracy, striking accuracy, really strong. Definitely mixing it up at least a little bit in terms of his targets. And yeah, he's pretty classic. On Diego's side, pretty similar, not out here defending takedowns, striking accuracy, same, pretty up there, mixing it up as well between the head and the body. But the reality is that Grant Dawson simply has had more success in my mind. So that's why Grant is our dynamic pick. Moving on. Next up, heavyweights. We love heavyweights, especially athletic heavyweights. No, we love all of our heavyweights, fat and all. So first of all, we have Jailton Almeida. Okay, he's going against Sergey Spivac, but we'll get to him later. So let's start with Jailton. He is 7-1 in the UFC, 21-3 overall. That's a pretty strong record. He's got a super high striking accuracy. It's like something there at 64. Looks like we got in there. But he's actually coming from a wrestling background. So this guy is like fit and he's ready. And he's got solid takedown defense. He's going for the brain with the striking. He primarily goes to the head with his strikes, which is, that can be a good and a bad thing. He's got that stopping power. But what he needs to do is stop the takedown if he's going to beat Sergey Spivac, the polar bear, who is 17-4, 8-4 in the UFC. Again, mixed success, but you know how the heavyweight business goes, okay? These guys are really strong. They are giving each other a lot of brain damage quickly. You go out like a light in this division, more so than some other ones, but he's got some significant takedown accuracy because he himself is a pretty good grappler. He's going to be after the submission, and he's beat some pretty legit names. So let's just look at it for a second. Okay. So Sergey, takedown accuracy, that is pretty strong. That's pretty good. But he's going entirely for the head. Everyone's going for the head. Jeez Louise. Okay. Thing is, though, is that Jailton Almeida, he's really got it all going on, it seems. He's willing to strike, and he's willing to go for the submissions as well. I mean, he's got more submissions, and he's got 15 first-round finishes, so that's some heavyweight stuff, though, to be honest, that first-round finish. So who are we going to go with? Yeah, we're going with Jailton Almeida. Probably via knockout, just because it's hard to pull a submission on a submission artist, but look at this guy. He is so athletic. Okay, moving on. Peyton Talbott, up-and-comer, new age, who I think is going to be potentially the breakout fighter of the year, which is 2025, the year today, versus Raoni Barcelos, who is, been through the ringer in his own right, but this might be a setup. So Peyton Talbott, if you don't know, he's undefeated right now, 9-0, 4-0 in the UFC. He's really on his way. He seems pretty grounded. He's from the Contender Series. I think he's pretty good for the sport. You should check out his interviews. He seems like a all right guy. I mean, he's still a young man, but he's very versed in his talents, striking, takedown defense, submission, but he definitely prefers to strike. That's like where he is at home. He's an artsy fellow. Check out his YouTube channel if you've got some time. And he's going against Raoni Barcelos, who, based on how things are looking, he's kind of had like mixed success recently. He's probably being a little bit set up to fail. Like the UFC is probably, more, they're kind of crossing their fingers for the Peyton Talbott win because, then the story gets going and we can like sell more. Yay. Like we love a little celebrity. But we should not look past Raoni Barcelos. Like he is a power puncher, not super accurate with the takedowns, but he's got solid defense on that end. And he's coming from the BJJ background, so he knows how to roll in there. And he's really diverse in his targeting, actually. He's talking about a lot of people who just go for the head. Raoni Barcelos is not that man. Let's actually check that out. Yeah, I mean, he's pretty mixed up. Like, not insanely, but 73% to the head, and then the 13 and the 14 for the body and the legs. Mixing it up. But the truth is that he's had mixed success lately. Whereas our boy Peyton Talbott is coming off of that undefeated. And yeah, he's going for the knockout, not the submission. And the thing is I feel like he's going to get it. Yep. Why not? This is about vibes, ultimately. Moving on. Man, this joke was funny until this fight got canceled. Yeah, that sucks. But we can still talk about Bogdan because he is cool. We could talk about Bogdan Guskov, and I can't really tell you about the new person who he's going against. We can do a little speed run of that, but Bogdan got a solid record. He's 2-1 in the UFC. He's got that blunt trauma level fist. It says fits. Ignore that. It's supposed to be fist. I'm saying, like, this guy hits hard as hell, and he's really on his way to proving himself, if you ask me. He seems like a nice young man. He splits his strikes pretty well between the head and the body. We're going to look at his 4th appearance in the UFC, so here we go. Yeah, I have no idea about the person who's stepping up to fight him, but this guy's got 14 wins by knockout, 2 by submission. 12 of these knockouts are within the first round, so we're coming at it fast. I think whoever this new guy is, he's not going to be ready for this shit, but I'm sorry that my joke that I thought was funny, it doesn't work anymore. Ha ha ha, let's laugh anyway. Okay. We made it. Main event, how will you be watching? Comment down below. Does it start with C and end with S? Does it start with M and end with that? Okay, I've said it now. Kevin Holland versus Reinier de Ridder. Is that how you say his name? Or the Dutch King. This is going to be amazing. Nobody goes against my boy Kevin Holland. Just kidding, a lot of people do. But they don't go and they don't have my heart. So he always has my heart, so you kind of already know where I'm going with this. Sorry. Spoiler alert. Trailblazer Holland. 26-12, 14-9 in the UFC. Again, I know it's a little bit mixed, but the reality is that he has stopped criminal activity, okay? So how many people on this planet have actively stopped a carjacking and a shooter? Yeah, what that translates to in my mind is he knows what to do in a pinch, all right? And he's also not afraid to ask for help. Have you ever seen him in his corner shout over the fence like, hey, can I get some submission advice? Like over to Khabib while he's like chilling in the benches? The truth is that Kevin Holland has beaten many of the greats, and he's really proven himself in the UFC. Like, he's done some shit, and they haven't given it to him easy. It's not like Kevin Holland has just like had his cake and ate it too. Like, he has been through some shit, and he's going against a new man to the UFC. He's only had one appearance. This is his second time. Reinier de Ridder, the Dutch Knight. He's a baddie. He's still finding his way though, but he has had some great success in the one championship. Retiring some people and all that business. Let's check it out though. So I think that UFC doesn't really care about what happens to Kevin Holland, unfortunately, and that's their mistake. But Reinier de Ridder is no joke. He's a submission artist himself. This is going to be really fascinating since Kevin Holland also is very versed in the submission. So it might be a bit of a swirly. It might be a bit of a swirly battle on the ground. But then again, will it be? Because we have a lot of first round finishes as well on both ends. And ultimately, Kevin Holland has got it all, okay? He can knock you out. He can submit you. I love this man. So if you're going to tune in to any fight, this is, like, honestly on the top 3 for me. There's so much going on, though. Stop. Don't make me make that decision. But you know what decision I can make? It is decision in favor of Kevin Holland. He is the dynamic pick because, spoiler alert, he's kind of always going to be. It's going to take a lot to go against Kevin Holland. Okay. Listen. Have you heard of number 9 and number 10? Have you? Beneil Dariush and Renato Money Moicano. Spoiler alert, you kind of know where I'm going with this. Doesn't matter. So, the thing is Beneil Dariush is no joke. All right. He has a record of 22-6, 16-6 in the UFC, which is like definitely leaning way heavy on the success, but he's also had his challenges as well. He's a 10-year UFC vet. This guy has been in the game for a long time. He has that claw and scratch strategy where BJJ is kind of his home base, but he's always coming at you with the crazy shit like ground and pound. And that's how he finishes a lot of his fights. And he's also really effective at making adjustments. He's someone who I know a lot of us consider to be a very composed, very cerebral fighter. He's not somebody who loses his marbles out there and goes crazy. And he's really willing to stand. You know, God as his focus. I always think people who come at it with a religious perspective often have a little bit more success, and potentially that's tied to how much they're putting into it. They just take it very seriously, and he takes his life very seriously. 2024 Forrest Griffin Community Award. So we love Beneil Dariush, and no hate, but he's going against a man who has my heart, my soul, my heart, my soul, my brain. My heart, my soul, my brain, my attention, most importantly. Renato Moicano, I know a lot of you are already on this train. He's number 10. He's right behind Beneil Dariush. They're a perfect match for each other. He's got a very similar record. He's 20-5 in general, 12-5 in the UFC. He's Money Moicano. I mean, as of November 2022. I don't know if you know this, but he wasn't always Money Moicano. That's kind of like a new development, but, you know, we're all for it. God is also at his focus, so we got 2 people fighting for God. Coming off of 2 TKO wins over some major baddies, and just fun fact, I thought this was interesting. He was supposed to fight Arman, and then that fight got canceled, so imagine, just saying. Imagine if Money Moicano were to have beat Arman Tsarukyan, would that mean that this would have been reversed? That it would be... Anyway... Okay, he's basically only lost to the greats in the terms of UFC. So every loss that he has, we take a little peek at his record, is something that you can go, oh yeah, like baddies, like RDJ, just like absolute baddies. And just like Beneil Dariush, he's a claw and scratch fighter, except for instead of BJJ, he's got the judo origin, but same thing, he's really comfortable in that ground and pound, and that's some nasty stuff. Yeah, we have to go with Money Moicano, but this is going to be an absolutely sensational fight. Both of these guys are... at the highest level. I mean, everybody in the top 10, but especially lightweights, clap, 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 and get ready. And it's going to have some serious implications as well. All right, moving on. We're making our way down the card to the next fight. This one's going to be crazy, yeah. All right, Yuri Prochazka versus Jamal Hill. Does it get better than this? I keep saying that, but everybody knows that this is an absolute, just completely stacked top to bottom. This is tough. This is really tough. Because you have Yuri Prochazka, okay, record 30-5-1, no contest. He's 4-2 in the UFC, so it's been a little dicey, but you know, he's tricky, awkward, twitchy, powerful. And he is a smart guy, and he is an interesting fellow who really does perform out there in an interesting way. So it's like he has a weird, he's weird in a good way. He's takes one to know one. And he is out there in the octagon showing that same spirit. Everybody loves to see this guy fight. You know, he used to get into street fights as a kid. And, you know, after he saw Never Back Down, great movie if you haven't seen it, he decided to take up fighting. And that's absolutely insane. I mean, I'm sure a lot of other people have that story as well. But he is a baddie, and he's going against a fellow baddie, Jamal Hill. Yeah, Jamal Sweet Dreams Hill. So, Jamal Hill... we got 12-2, 6-2, and with 1 no contest in the UFC. Might have the best left hand in the division. I don't give a... You can cut me on that. That's fine. He needs to get off Twitter. That might be true. But he's also a Midwesterner through and through. That wasn't supposed to rhyme, but it did. Contender Series alum. He's actually the first champion from the Contender Series. And if he's going to win this, he's got to keep it chill. But I feel like because Jamal Hill... let's just look into the details. Because Jamal Hill has the power in his hands. He's got the power in his hands. That is the reality. That I feel like he's going to take Yuri down. But let's just look into it. 26 wins by knockout for Yuri. But again, that's not all in the UFC. It's important to consider that. Versus Jamal Hill, we have 7 wins by knockout. Look at that lack of submissions. Jamal Hill, that's the problem, though. Not really the problem, because Yuri's not like a submission guy. No one's going to be trying to submit anybody. This is going to be a boxing insane, like throwing hands, you know. All right. But when it comes to that UFC experience, Jamal Hill has been there. I mean, this is scary as fuck. The people who he's lost to, again, we got to consider. So, beat St. Preux, lost to Paul Craig. Lots of us have. I mean, it's fucking Paul Craig. Beat Jimmy Crute, relevant. Beat Johnny Walker. And let's not forget the Thiago Santos. Like, that was fucked up. And then Glover Teixeira. And now we are where we are, where he lost to Alex Pereira, and people have, I don't know, they just forget. It's very unfortunate. We should not forget these things. We should not forget that Jamal is a powerful person. So, we got our sweet dreams. We got our dreams big. And we're going to go with Jamal as our dynamic pick. No hate to Yuri, but I think that Jamal's got it in his hands. All right, moving on. Oh, wait, we have to go back. We didn't check out. We have to look into this, the Beneil and the Moicano, because come on, we can't be crying about like Renato Moicano and not go into the stats. Okay, so Beneil Dariush, moderate striking accuracy, takedowns not really happening, but he's splitting his strikes really well. And yeah, he has been through the ringer in a good and bad way in terms of people who he's beaten. Like, hello, Gamrot, let's go. That's pretty significant. But yeah, taking some losses as well. I think Moicano's just on like a bit more of a hot streak right now. Let's look at Renato. Money, Moicano. Okay, he really wants to submit you. But like, it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. Anyway, let's get back to our regularly scheduled program. Yes. If there's one hill that I'm willing to die on this entire card, it's this one. Okay, maybe not die. If there's one hill that I'm willing to stand on with a sign and say, this is me, this is my hill, this would be the hill. Merab Dvalishvili versus Umar Nurmagomedov. I have some opinions about it. Don't we all? Well, we should. So, Umar, yeah, he might be number 2, but let's be honest. At an 18-0, very impressive, and a 6-0 in the UFC, which is, making his way, just like Peyton Talbott. That's like Peyton Talbott level, like, you're making your way. His only major test has honestly been Sandhagen. And that's a test. Like, no, that's no joke. Like, beating Corey Sandhagen is nothing to be laughed at, hee ha ha, because that's an absolute baddie. But if we just take just like a teensy little peek into it, the other people he's fought are not on the most amazing. Okay, so fighting on the early prelims or the prelims. Okay, people that he's fought are either literally not doing well or they're just out of the UFC entirely. Like, Brian Keller is on a fat losing streak. No hate. And I'm pretty sure this guy is not in the UFC anymore. So, and then that's it. So, Corey Sandhagen is, like, the only, like, extremely meaningful reference point that we have, I feel like, to judge Umar's performance. And yeah, he outstruck him, but what, by, like, 20 punches? Run it back three more times, see what happens. Just saying. Okay. Merab, on the other hand, my favoritism is showing. So 18-4 and 11-2 in the UFC. Actually, is that true? One of those is a no contest. Are we false reporting? Or a split decision. That's actually what, like, so one is a pure loss and one is a split decision. Yeah, when we scroll here though, we can still gotta load more. We can just see right already. Oh my god, it's not done. That he's been in the UFC and he has been not getting thrown. Ricky Simon, that's a reasonable loss. He just hasn't been given a bone. But it doesn't matter because he still dominated Jose Aldo, dominated Petr Yan, bye-bye Henry Cejudo, and then the thing that many of us weren't expecting, but I was, check the tapes, is Sean O'Malley. Bye. Love you, Sean O'Malley, but, you know, respectfully, goodbye. Yeah, he is that guy. I don't think, if you don't think that Merab Dvalishvili is that guy, shame on you. I mean, he's durable and penetrable gas tank. He knows, like, how to do 5 rounds, and he's proven that. Like, is Umar even going to be able to show up? And he's, you know, Merab has ran through the greats, so he's not just, and he's ready for that stand-up game. He's very emotional right now, which is just kind of a little bit, you know, it's, you know, I wish he wasn't that emotional. Like, he could calm down, like, maybe, like, 2%. But emotions and all, I freaking love the guy. And so he has my favor. And like I said, this is the hill that I'm willing to not die, because that's extreme, but I'm willing to hold a sign up and say, it's my hill, okay? Yes, Merab Dvalishvili. Probably via decision, you know, just snuffing. But maybe he'll punch him out, like he says he wants to. Let's see what happens. It's going to be exciting. Okay, this is really tough. It's going to be fireworks, but it's tough. This is a tough one. All right, lightweight champion, our second champion. We have bantamweights fighting for the championship. We have lightweights fighting for the championship, and we have got some lightweights fighting for implications. So Islam Makhachev, you know him, 26-1, 16-1 in the UFC. This guy is a 10-year vet at this point. Talk about proving yourself. He's the number 1 pound for pound. Kind of hard to dispute. Been there, done that, might be the best. Has all the answers. You know, he can tire. It's worth revisiting that Dustin Poirier fight. And he's a horse guy. Okay, not really relevant. But is it? You never know what details might matter. So, we gotta dive into it. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, we do. Wait, just looking at some more Merab. Oh, yeah. Average fight time, 16 minutes? Oh my god. Talk about a grind. That's hell. An average fight time of 16. That's pretty good too. 11? Oh god. That's a grind. Okay. Islam Makhachev. 5 wins by knockout, 12 by submission. Crazy striking accuracy. He'll split it up. He'll beat up Dan Hooker. He'll split it up. Oh, yeah. That's crazy. Loses in his debut and never loses again. Remember that, okay? That's insane. And he's going against the number 1. He's clawed and scratched his way to the top. 23-3, 9-2 in the UFC, so doing it. The wants to stand, the hasn't proved, the rich boy, Arman Tsarukyan. Oh, this is really tough. I feel like every time I'm going back and forth, and I know that's stupid. Why would you go back and forth between the pound for pound best and some guy? And I'll tell you, because they both have equal weaknesses in many ways. I would say that their biggest weakness is that they both get tired. They both get really tired. I've seen some hard looks at the clock from both of these guys. I mean, obviously Islam has way more experience to really test that, but we have main event experience for Arman Tsarukyan. Well, that's where I saw a hard look at the clock. It is tough, but he's ran through some greats. They both have. It's intense. And I think that because Islam Makhachev is maybe already been there, done that, it's not going to matter as much to him. But ultimately, he is the more skilled fighter. So this is really tough. So what is it, in my opinion, it's going to come down to who wants it more. And I'm getting the impression that Arman Tsarukyan does. And maybe I'm just doing that thing where it's just what I hope for, because it would shake things up. It would shake it up. It would shake up the lightweight division if Arman Tsarukyan were to win. It would crash some plans, and it would lead to a trilogy fight. And trilogies are my absolute favorite. So, regretfully, perhaps, and walking on some very thin ice, yeah, I guess I'm allowing myself to be quoted here. That does it. So, just a reminder, if you have some money, look at it and think reflectively about Renato Moicano. Think to yourself, where is he now? What is he thinking about? Because I guarantee it's something interesting. Does that spell? How do you make it 3? 3? That's backwards. This is a struggle every time. Whatever, forget that.